Hi, I'm Carmel Pavan, the Business and Marketing Director with As Good as Gold Australia for Women. Welcome to our series of videos focusing purely on talking to some of our female clients who will tell us about investing in gold and silver and what some of the emotional and psychological issues they've faced have been around money, investing and their financial future. And hopefully by watching some of our videos, you'll come away feeling a little more inspired, a little more educated, as I know I have, and ultimately you'll have a greater understanding of why now is the perfect time to invest in precious metals. Well, thank you all for being part of the As Good as Gold Women series. And this is our special panel discussion. So it's such a thrill to sit here with you and find out a little more about your personal experiences when it comes to money, finances and investing and all these great juicy topics, but also finding out a little more about who you are and how you've come on this journey, developing confidence around yourself as women and also around finances. So let's just start with, while we're all here, investing in gold and silver. Why did the three of you invest in gold and silver? Just briefly, Jude?
For me, it's affordable. I was at a meeting with some of the people from As Good as Gold. We were in the same business together, and I learnt about their business and learned a lot about gold and silver through them, and discussed it with my husband, and that's how we became to buy our first, and now we buy weekly. We don't have a lot of super, we haven't been building our super funds right from at the beginning of our employment days, like most people have, because my husband works for himself. I was a stay-at-home mum, so our super wasn't what it should be. I like the idea of super, but then I've heard of people who have lost a lot of super in the market downturns, the stock market. They've lost thousands of dollars. So for me, we wanted to find another way of investing. So we looked at real estate. We have some real estate, and gold and silver. Just after I was educated a bit about it, was the way to go. It's affordable. We know it's going to explode in the next 3 to 5 years in prices. So I would encourage everyone to do the same. Get your little stash.
And continue to build.
And continue to build, yes.
Absolutely.
And, as we do it, we buy weekly. We bought a bulk amount as well, but we buy weekly, so we don't notice it. And and it's building.
Very good. Bella, what about you? Why the interest to invest in gold and silver?
Well, came time to sell some property that I'd had for 30 years, and the share market was about to fall over. And I could see that back in July and August. And similarly, I've grown my little nest egg in super and didn't want to lose what I had, managed to save or acquire, I should say, because of the market activity. And so, yes, it was time to find something that was going to produce results 3 to 5 to 10, 20 years down.
More
track.
solid, more stable.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Elizabeth, same for you?
Diversification. I suppose we've got property, got shares, next step, precious metals.
Yep.
And not only that, it's the security, but also inheritance for the family.
Yep.
So down the track, you're going to pass something on to them.
Yeah. So for yourself and the family?
Both.
I would suspect that you've also... No? Just for yourself, Bella? Yes. And for you, part of investing for your family's future?
Yes. I would certainly like to be able to, leave a legacy of that as well. And I've also, educated them as well on owning silver.
Educated your son, daughter?
Both.
Both. Okay. Let's focus a little more about the education, because no one really goes into things blindly. Women are not necessarily the risk takers that men are when it comes to investing. So how much did the three of you, briefly, if you can let me know, put time and effort into researching gold and silver? Elizabeth?
Probably my mindset has changed dramatically in the last 10, 15 years. So it didn't take a lot of time or effort or a lot of research. Just put yourself amongst people that know. So knowledge is power, education. So I probably would have, spent a bit of time. As I said to you before, I've invested in probably 3 or 4 different gold and silver merchants, and ended up with As Good as Gold because of their integrity and the ease of doing it. So yes, I would say education's number one, then you do your research.
Yeah. And Bella, agree?
Absolutely, except for I haven't invested in the numbers of companies you're talking about, but I've done the research over more than a decade, close on 2 decades now. Information certainly has become easier to come by, and I've lived in country areas all my life until these last couple of years here in Adelaide, and so it's wonderful when you can get a mentor or find somebody that will help you, but I unfortunately have had family who I've learnt just by a whisper have bought silver and gold, but they've never told anybody in
Not
the
even
family,
you?
not even me, no. I mean, maybe there was one favoured nephew, but it's been something that I've had to go seeking and build and gather that knowledge. And like Elizabeth was saying, you research and you look, and I've looked into several companies and was very happy when I found As Good as Gold.
Australia. Absolutely. And now focusing on our wonderful female clients. I want to just touch back on, you've all mentioned your upbringing, the family. So from a psychological perspective, our attitude towards money and finances, a lot of it does come from our upbringing, doesn't it?
Absolutely.
Yeah? You're very strong in that emotion, Bella.
Well, my father was paid in cash, the blue-collar worker, and I would see my mother sitting on the bed with a whole heap of envelopes, and a little bit of money would go into each envelope. And as a 5-year-old, I would buy little Chicos, the little brown babies, and I would count to see how many Chicos I got for my 6pence versus if I went to the jar on the counter and bought them individually. So it is something, people talk about having jobs for their kids and paying them pocket money. That education is essential when you're young, and so you acquire knowledge by experience as well as by teaching, and then as you get older and now information's more easily available, it is there for the taking.
Yeah, but it's a huge lesson for us, isn't it? Looking at our parents and what they did, their attitude towards money and how it reflects on us.
To be quite honest, my parents, I didn't really know much about their finances growing up, and I left home when I was 17, went flat in. I very quickly learned about running a household myself, and it was sort of kept quiet, I think. I never had any idea about my parents' finances. So
my father passed away, just to share with you, 2 years ago, and I then found out very quickly that my mother, bless her, has absolutely no idea about the value of money, let alone investing in finances. So that was a big bit of a scare, bit of a concern for me. It's not just the older generation, it's the younger generation as well, that are spending more than they're earning. Maybe this is the message that we need to talk to them about.
Absolutely, yeah. But I think also we forget with our parents and our grandparents went through a recession, or depression.
Yes.
So their idea of money was totally different. Then our parents went through war. My father came back from the war before he got married. So it's been a huge learning curve for everybody. So that's why you really shouldn't have too much expectation on your parents for what they taught you. Mine was save money and don't spend anything you don't have. But so I think we're a generation evolving. I think things are so different, and education's there now. Whereas in our day, growing up, we didn't have a lot of education.
I think that's the most important thing that I'm gathering from the three of you, is that you, irrespective of what's happened in your background, you've really made a decision to build a better future for yourselves and your family. So only some great advice for others to learn from you. I just want to touch on, again, another psychological issue, because I think sometimes it really is ingrained in us, the way we think about money and finances. Let's talk about a couple of the myths that surrounds, to this day, women and money. Like the fairy tale myth, for example. the one that the man's going to come along on a white horse and rescue us and we'll live happily ever after. Do we still have that myth in our society?
It's in all the fairy tales.
Yeah, yeah,
They are starting to change.
Yeah.
But it is. You look at any of the movies, all of the storybooks, and there are a few now that tell something different. But unfortunately, it is a fantasy world that children are brought up into because we want everything to look wonderful. And I think
We like everything to have a happy ending.
exactly.
You know,
Yes.
unfortunately, it's not reality.
But it's even more so, it's the male to rescue the female. Sometimes the female rescues the male. In fact, more often than not. So there's another myth that I'd like to raise. The myth of I'll have enough superannuation when I retire. Oh, you're all smirking. Elizabeth, that's one of your favourite topics?
Yes. Yeah, I think it's because we've all got better health and we're all living longer.
Yes.
And the cost of living is not going down, it's going up.
Yes.
So I think any attuned woman in this day and age needs to worry about her superannuation and how much she's going to have to retire on. And we're all going to have to work longer. That's just the basic.
Yeah.
Super's also contingent upon the share market, the property market and the portfolio or portfolios that is just unstable.
That's right.
Not necessarily if you own your own self-managed super fund.
Right.
And you can change your strategy.
You can have whatever strategy.
your level of strategies. So most people are. I think when you normally go into the middle slot, don't you? So there's a little bit of a share,
Like a balanced
and
portfolio.
a little
Diversified portfolio.
But I know people that have lost thousands and thousands.
As do I.
And it's devastating. It's where they could have put that money into silver and gold, and you know.
Depends what they're trying to do with it, though. If you're doing silver and gold, you're not really getting interest on it. It's an investment really for the future.
For the future,
and that's why a lot of
absolutely.
people can't afford to do it.
Yeah.
But having said that, silver is very affordable. And I think that's
Absolutely,
what people don't realise.
And yet I have seen a graph which over, I can't remember whether it was 2 or 3 decades, silver and gold have outperformed all share market and all property. And if you invested then, you would be way above anything that you would have earned from property and share market. So I think from a long-term investment, investing in silver and gold and keeping that until the market cycle is up where you would, realise your gains, you would outdo property. And that was a shock to me when I saw that graph. I thought that absolutely attests.
And this information is readily available,
Yes.
of course, for any of us. You touched upon, Elizabeth, the self-managed super fund. I think more and more people are looking at least 10% investing in precious metals
Yes, they are.
and continuing to do so.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah, for good reason, obviously.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's tangible too. You know,
Yes.
silver is very tangible.
Yes.
And you have control over it.
That's right. That's right. When it comes to women, obviously ourselves, we're fairly confident in terms of who we are. I think we can say that quite generally, but not so when it comes to finance. I've been interviewing a lot of women, younger, older, and I'm finding this major disconnect. What's going on? We're not confident with finance, with money.
I think it's lack of education.
Yeah.
I really do. If you're educated, you can make a really a very good decision about what you do with your money. But if you're not educated, you just don't know where to start. So I think education on money is very, very important, and finances. They don't teach it in school. That's the problem.
That was one of my points as well. They really need to put finances and investing and strategies for investing into the school curriculum, especially now with children growing up and not having the pension and you need to have several sources of income.
Yeah.
You can't put all your eggs in one basket.
Absolutely.
So to speak.
That is such a wise thing to do.
Can I just add that I think there is so much pressure on people to have the new car, all the new furniture and the new house, everything where in decades past we have lived with second-hand furniture. We have had the not so good until there was enough savings to have the better. And so society's expectations have changed. People have become very used to being able to spend not only what they've earned, but they've had credit. There's mortgages, so there's now enormous amounts of debt, And
Absolutely.
people just expect that that's going to continue.
Instant gratification in society, plus don't worry about the debt, don't worry about the future.
No.
Yeah.
It's just not the wise way to live, is it?
That's
No, I remember moving into a flat, my first flat, and we sat on the floor, bean bags, crates,
Yes.
you know, our dinner on our knee, and anything that came into the house was secondhand. But you know, we were happy. Actually, we didn't have to have the brand new.
If you could speak to the younger version of yourselves, maybe not so much that far back, but on beanbags, of course. Would you have advised the younger version of yourself to invest in even a little bit of silver back then?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I wish that I had started investing way earlier than I did.
Do you both feel the same way?
Yes, but I think things come at the right time for you.
Yeah.
I probably wouldn't have had the extra money at that point in time to be able to invest in silver.
That's a good point.
And also I probably wasn't educated enough to know the value of it. So I think
But if you knew what you
if
know
I know
now,
what I know now, I probably would have.
Yeah.
Yeah, it definitely would have started.
Yeah.
You know, an ounce a week.
Yeah,
Even,
exactly. Very
you know.
affordable.
Yeah.
So affordable. Yeah, exactly.
What about telling your partner that you had a small, say, growing investment of silver? Would you have shared that, or would you? Not that I'm advocating to be stealthy or secretive, but would that be a consideration to any of you? Because you can do that. I know women who do that.
I would have, but someone did bring up a point actually that if a marriage breaks down, then you do have your little stash that you're okay, and you can leave with that, and you can set yourself up. I probably would. I would have told my husband if I had a stash of silver, but I mean we're still married.
Sure,
So,
sure.
But I can certainly understand in some cases if marriage didn't work out, it would be nice not to have told.
In many cases, would either of you had a little
I think mores
investment?
in society have changed. The culture of what's expected in a marriage and who tells what and who runs the family finances, all sorts of things have changed. It was only in the early 90s that a woman could not have a bank loan without a male guarantor. Things have shifted dramatically in the last 20 years. And so I think the question that you're addressing really is for younger people. They are growing up in a different society with different attitudes.
So the answer is yes.
I grew up in a society where it was 50-50 and everybody knew what was on the table and you worked together. And yet I know and it is age and experience and what you go through in life, having access to accounts that are in your own name, property that's in your own name, you earn and work for the money, so it is equally as much yours as his. And that attitude, thankfully, in society has changed, and women now have a greater power to be independent. And unfortunately, as you and I have discussed, we know young women who've been in relationships and have been left with his debt, whether it be a gambling debt or a car that's been on hire purchase, and he's walked out and she's left carrying the
Mid-20s with a huge debt.
And that's the other side of the coin that is now part of society.
Absolutely. This has been a really enjoyable panel discussion and perhaps one of many more to come. Let's end with just a little bit of sage advice from you to any woman watching this video. So Elizabeth, what's your advice?
My advice is, first of all, concentrate on your mindset. So do some education on your mind, then education about the things that you can invest in, and I certainly would start just investing in silver, just in small amounts, doesn't have to be huge, and it'll slowly compound.
Thank you. Bella, what would you like to advise?
I would agree. It is really important. Doing a budget is really important. Know what your money is, know where it's going, and planning for the future, putting some aside from the very beginning. You may eventually invest in a lot of different things, but having that basic ability to know what you're spending, what you can save, And as Elizabeth is advising, know what you can invest in, because there are options.
Fantastic. Thank you. And Jude?
Well, I agree with what both of the ladies have said, but I think that education is power, and I think it's confidence. And you don't have to go out and do courses. You know, like there's so much that you can learn over the internet, over YouTube. You can watch seminars. You can watch all the key players in the finance world and on YouTube. And yes, definitely buy as much silver as you can. Right now, the price is down low, but you know it won't be that long before you make a very good profit on it.
Thank you. Great advice from all of you. I'm certainly taking note. So thank you again, Elizabeth, Bella and Jude, part of our As Good as Gold Women. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for watching our video series for As Good as Gold Women. We can live a fulfilled life. We can live a life of abundance, and we can have greater control of our financial destiny, helping pave the way for women just like you to live a happier and more peaceful existence when it comes to finances and investing. I and my team would really love to help you towards your financial goals by making it really simple to invest in gold and silver. All you need to do is jump on the website asgoodasgoldAUS.com.au to register for more information or to simply start investing. Or you can call 1300 295 833. Thanks for watching and take care of your precious selves.